Yo, what up? How y'all doing?
Hello.
What's up, team? Good. Full
I'm
screen.
here.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Welcome back to Grace Attorney. First of all, let me know how everything sounds. I'd love to hear.
Check.
Audio check. I'm pretty sure
Audio
everything should
check.
sound great, except on yesterday's Stardew stream, my music was drowning everybody out. Oh, thank you!
Oh,
Thank you,
thank
Gomez.
you, Gomez.
Appreciate that very much. So, guys, last time on Dragon Ball Z, we found out that the music box disc is actually Morse code, and we're about to tell the jury about that. Except I have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what to present to tell them that it's Morse code. I have a theory that perhaps it's talking about this newspaper article right here. Because if
present people, present the lady who likes the Morse code.
well, the jury actually no,
No.
I cannot present people. But also the jury is not a part of the profiles anyway.
Right.
Evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds.
I
Well,
think
how would we be able to connect this paper to
Well-
the music box? Is my question.
if we read the back here,
There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well. Look. Ministry Mole, classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice.
for a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of world news.
It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted, but how would somebody be doing that?
That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Runa?
No, of course not. I wonder. Perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday.
Yes, it could be. And it would explain why he and Grexy are running from Pillaret to Post at the moment.
Now, that didn't explicitly talk about Morse code, but as far as I can tell, it's the closest related thing I have in my evidence.
I mean, this is definitely part of it, but it seems like something that we're gonna have to bring up later.
That's possible.
Yeah, I'm worried we're just gonna be one step ahead.
We
Yeah,
have 5
as you do in
Yeah.
this journey.
I
But
don't.
this is also definitely why Gregson is sweating bullets
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
this whole
But,
time.
but guys, if not that, what would you pick?
I would just say we have 5 health. There's no harm in trying.
Plus, this is where we saved.
Oh
So-
yeah!
we can just start presenting. stuff, I think.
Here, have a thing. Take
Yeah,
that.
sure, do the paper.
Today's paper, Council. The headline is Pawnbroker perishes in Pickpurse plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause.
No, my lord. I was hoping that you'd look a little further down the page.
Further down,
Okay.
Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice.
Haha.
Yes, this is a very serious matter being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
I've heard that the international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries.
And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams?
Of course.
Juror number 5, your input, please. Ah, very good.
Ah, nice.
Oh.
Stop. Me, sir?
Little me.
Whatever is the matter?
I'm squinting at you and I'm squinting at Gregson. Everybody's getting squinted at. Oh, guys, a thought occurred to me. So,
Me.
our bad man here, Grayson.
Yeah.
We're saying that he interacted with the music box when he broke into the store, right?
Yeah.
But I posited last time, why would he do that if he did not have the music disc? But it only makes sense if he did have the music disc. But who was supposed to have the music disc at that point?
Gregson.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not?
Yes, that's correct.
And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports.
Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important.
Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound?
Communication, what's your station?
You don't mean to say, is it?
That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code?
But I don't believe it.
Now correct me if I'm
Believe
wrong,
it.
but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer.
Hey!
Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code?
And we've just been playing it for the gallery.
Yay.
Order, order, please, everyone, order. But this is this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment.
Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason and what is a capital punishment?
The sorts of words I'd half expect you to know, actually.
You know, you squint at a lot of people, but I cannot squint at him.
I can't squint at him. He's doing all the squinting for me.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
Back in Motherland, we love our country. Never commit treason.
Never once.
For sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price.
Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus.
But in the end, McGilded perishes. And the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery.
My word!
In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country,
It would reveal a act of high treason, perishable by death.
so the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have had to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate him too much if he got into the wrong hands. Ah! Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon?
You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous.
I wonder if they're gonna tell us what it actually says.
So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you?
Well, of course I do. I had to stand here in silence while a pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Oh,
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir.
oh.
The prosecution demands the witness testifies. In response to the accusation brought by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure.
The witness is reminded that the crime is under scrutiny in this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windybank. That being a most flagitious.
Flagitious?
Flagacious.
Huh?
A most
Even
terrible
Ghost
offense.
Wilson doesn't know this one.
I am confused, sir.
I'm not sure about that one, sir. Your guess is as good as mine.
Flagitious.
Flanagus. Oh, good God. Also, good to see you, Wilson. Good to see you. Yes. Anyway, but for which of the law of this land sanctions
How to
a
check my-
capital punishment?
How to check my pocket dictionary, sir.
But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then,
Whoa.
let us pursue.
Oh, what?
Oh God!
What?
You gotta let us have a rabbit and pork ear, Governor. We got things to say.
Eh.
I beg your pardon. Who do you think you are?
Name's Nat Skulkin. Occupation is a professional baddie.
We're past that.
Name's Ringo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out a motherland.
That's right. We're what they call the three
Skulkin brothers.
warriors. Yeah, what is that? What is that?
Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. God save the queen and all that.
Hey, Graydon, what's up? Wait, why'd they eat next?
Completely ignored.
Amazing.
A mere communication officer couldn't possibly deal in confidential government information. Besides, the sound produced by that box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmakers negotiating with Miss McGilded anyways, was it not? I'm no relation to the man.
Look, all we done is break into the cave and the other night like we told, like what he told us to.
If we'd have known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it.
They're betraying him. Nice.
These two are great.
These two are the best.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
One missile do, Governor. What's up?
What's up?
Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? The one on the night in question, you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. And moreover, did you, as a party of 3, in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here,
We did, Gov. We did.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sure.
Cool.
quiet it down, please.
Case closed.
What?
We
What?
done it.
What say you to that, Mr. Graydon?
Fuck. I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to.
You're screwed. Just let it happen.
You little rotten, getting us mixed up in all this. Getting us all mixed up in this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job.
And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor bloke didn't have to die, did he?
Ah!
Nice to know who your friends are.
Whatever these men say, I deny the accusation.
No, go to jail. Do not collect 200.
I don't want to.
Well, too fucking bad.
Can I pass go?
No, you cannot.
You can. When can you ever when going to jail?
Indeed.
House rules.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this music box to become so significant in the proceedings.
Right.
However, as it has, I will admit into the court record as evidence.
Okay,
Oh,
thanks.
hell yeah.
I guess I'll have a look at that, but I feel like we're done with it. Unless we're
I mean,
super
yeah,
not.
definitely still examine it, I think.
It's about to crack this case wide open. Let's go. I'm gonna look at the bottom.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
I can't find anything out of place. No. What is dot? You do have more secrets. Oh!
What is it, Bruno?
I should have let the music start. I've just noticed
I was gonna say.
something about this music box. It looks like the bottom of it opens up as well.
Ah, you're right. Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
All right, then here goes. Well, okay.
Look at that. There's another moment on the underside.
So, does that mean
Oh.
you can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yes, I think so. And it looks like the two movements are linked together.
Let me tell you about the stereoscopy of Morse code. What we need to do
You can't
put
be
God
doing
damn it,
discs
Jay,
next
you're
to each
right.
other.
I'm serious.
Real close.
Wow, they're linked?
So if you
Stereo
had
oral.
2 discs, they could both play back at the same time.
He was
Oh
talking.
my god.
He did mention that there was more than one disc at some point. He did say that. I recall that. Is there more to say?
What if it turns out that there are 2 discs, but they are the same disc?
Oh, like you flip
they're,
it?
They're copies of each other.
They're copies of each
So
other.
you remember the imprint that Shomes made?
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna turn out to get 2 of the same disc that play different things on the 2 different movements. And when you play them together, they create a new message.
Maybe.
Shove the caramel in there.
Who'd have thought that there would be a second movement on the other underside of the box?
And this mode is like the other one. The combs teeth are all the same length.
So this movement also only produces a single tone like the other one?
Yes, it must do. Except that the length of the teeth of the 2 combs aren't the same. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different than the single tone we already heard.
What?
Basically, each movement can only produce a single note.
But the notes they produce are different. A music box that can only play 2 tones. And just for clarity, man, this is a hell of a thing. How about this side? See how the Fergilded disc sits in the music box the man deposited at Windibanks? It couldn't be a more perfect fit.
So there's no question then. This was designed to be played in this music box.
Yet despite that, the sounds it produces are neither musical, nor do they appear to have any meaning. It just doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if perhaps there's more to this music box than meets the eye. Maybe we haven't discovered all its secrets yet.
Now, I'm gonna assume you're just talking about what we just found. I'm gonna hope.
What did you find? Oh my god, there's a second side!
Oh my
Wow.
god, Iris! Goodbye.
Ah.
Well,
Alright.
okay, if it's just a second tone, then I wonder if it's gonna be like binary code or something.
I feel like the connection to Morse code fits too well with what we have going on at the moment. I don't know. Anyway, great. Oh no, you already
made at this point.
said
I don't
it.
know.
Hold it! So, is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted?
How could I possibly know?
Well, I just figured that you were the one doing it, so.
Oh! Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General member of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information.
Oh,
Oh no, stop! I must say something, stop!
let me guess. Turn number 5!
Office drama.
Ew.
We regular communications station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe.
No one is on this man's side. Except perhaps, our boy. Oh, thank you! Oh yeah, apparently my sub notif hadn't shown up yet. Happy 56 months. Damn, dude. That's a hell of a streak. Shoot. How am I forgetting our boy? The police boy, the Bobby.
Beetle, Gabadoo.
Gregson?
Gregson, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, they have similar names, so I was like, what is it? Anyway.
A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader.
That's fascinating.
I hate my life.
Graydon is a highly skilled operator, stop. Currently in presence of Idol, stop.
Stop! Stop!
Stop. See,
So, yes. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon?
Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent enciphered. Normal employers couldn't possibly understand them.
how Oh, no, stop. Must say something, stop.
Okay, I'm believing more and more that you might actually be on our side here.
Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists
Love
them
this.
in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize in the cipher cracking convention 5 years in a row now.
You're very talented, sir!
Graydon is highly skilled operator, stop. Currently in presence of idol, stop.
Well, your idol would appreciate it if you could keep your mouth shut!
She should really pick her idols more carefully.
I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded.
Do you?
That's one of my favorite phrases yet. Hold it! They're not?
To anyone with a brain, that would be a blatant apparent on listening to that music box for even a few seconds.
Of course, yeah.
Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code.
He looks genuine.
Everyone who's anyone knows Morse code.
Yeah.
Right, Ark?
Well, actually, you know, after Morse Code Psychic Master happened, I printed out a little like paper that explains it, and I keep it in my wallet just in case.
Really?
Yeah, 'cause, you know, why
Did you
not?
get quizzed?
I don't know. I figured like one day I would go to like an escape room, you know, if those ever open again, and then there'd just be a Morse code there, and I'd be like, "Excuse me, everybody, I'm here to
My
help."
time has come.
Roll up your sleeves.
Ouch! He looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. Probably him.
Or,
Oh.
I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir.
Yeah, a lesson here in court.
another one.
Morse code is a continuous series of two distinct tones.
Tones, you say?
Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
I see.
For example, this A, or this is A, and this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you?
Okay, so one of them is dots and the other one is dashes. Okay, I get it. But
Yeah, because the length of the tone matters, not just the space between them.
but it sounds so similar. The rhythm of it is the same in everything.
But there is no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sound. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code.
No.
Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of crap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspirations in future.
But stop. Nothing to say, but stop.
Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Iris?
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked or using the music box, so many other things could slot into place so nicely.
Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? Do I do this now?
Sure.
Give it a
Why
try. Sure.
Okay. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least.
Objection.
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend? Repeat the same lines of argument ad infinitum. It's already been established that to be Morse code, two tones are required. Dots and dashes.
Well,
Yes.
check this out.
I'm well aware of
No!
that.
Bakana!
Yeah.
Then what?
Well, it would appear that the defense is a hypothesis to put forward, as they always do.
You had better present your idea at once, Council. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to be produced on only a single note, could have been used to cipher secret messages into Morse code?
Well.
Well,
Oh. Oh, I picked the wrong
What is
thing.
it, Drino?
Well, actually, maybe I had to do this first, and then I select the thing from the bottom. Okay. Okay. Yep. Here. Got it.
Good gracious! What am I looking at here? It's a clam! Another movement on the other side of the music box?
What?
What?
It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in this music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time.
Good heavens!
As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message.
This is beyond a joke.
I'm sorry?
This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with the second disc, that would be another matter. Well,
But I don't have that.
and may I remind the court that the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with McGilden 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs.
What is the likelihood that it's, like, still hidden in Gina's coat somehow? Like, it's sewn in? It's possible.
Indeed. That was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
Exactly! I had nothing whatsoever to do with it.
Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue.
The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus case must be there somewhere, but I haven't found it yet.
Oh dear, it looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Runo.
You will reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon.
How goes the crime?
How-
Pretty poorly, but the justice is going well.
yeah.
It's going pretty poorly for Graydon.
Yeah.
If I must, though, I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination.
Yeah, but we've rejected that. Let's talk about it. So, 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilded killed the brickmaker and stole the disc.
Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him.
That doesn't make much sense, though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information?
How indeed?
There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all of this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason, in order to take it to the meeting with McGilded and negotiate a deal. Oh,
Oh, do something.
it said dear me.
Dear me, you may have it in it for me, but, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that.
An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together.
If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony.
I'll be back. You! Talk to me! Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean?
That's it, yeah. Well, who else, eh? Silly me thought it was popping over for a gnat over all them years. But the rotter and the dodgy jumped in at force.
Silly me thought he was just popping over for a natter after all the years. What?
Popping over for.
Talk?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So wait, these guys knew him.
I guess
years
so.
ago.
A talk? Yeah, it's like a chatter.
The chatter.
Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say. Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours?
We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know. Sure, let's say Graydon's in old China.
Okay, let's talk to you. That's a cute expression.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin?
Hey!
No. The other Mr. Skulkin.
What? Who, me?
When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react.
Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when.
Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean?
Yeah, with Ash, I mean. Straight
Oh.
up being a pair. I mean, you look at him now and his fancy whistle and flute, and you wouldn't add of an Adam and Eve.
Believe it.
Believe.
Believe it.
Wow.
Well, when he was younger, he was he was from the poor part of town just like us.
Is that so?
But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads.
Go blimey, that ain't the truth. Remember Milverton and Skulkin Milk Run?
Is Milverton his name? Wasn't it Graydon?
No.
Who's Milverton? Wait,
Who is Milverton?
that's not Thrice Fairy. No, probably not Mason. I don't know.
That was a corker, eh?
Save it until after the trial.
No.
Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom.
No, that's so related. Shut up.
And neither does your fruit.
Oh, then
Crunch.
he's answered the question, didn't he? And we was answered.
I'm not a geezer.
Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong.
Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please?
I don't know. Could that sentimental story be related somehow? Yeah, add it to the testimony.
Absolutely.
Always added to the testimony.
My lord.
Yes, Counsel.
The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case.
Very well, Counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add.
Say no more. A skulkin's never skulkin'.
Skulkin', yeah, I got it now, yeah.
Okay, so wait, we
Where's
have a
Milverton? Yeah, look at your
suggestion.
profile.
We have a suggestion here. Wait, I cannot.
What?
Why can
You're
I?
trying to present instead of looking.
Oh yeah. Take a
Where-
look at
Wait, how do I do such a thing?
your. Oh, that's great.
No, that's history. This is nothing. Is there not a button to look at my profiles at the moment? I guess there's
No.
no way to look at my profiles at the moment.
Huh.
Okay, well, let's talk about it anyway. Hold it.
Maybe now with court record.
I will.
Oh yeah, now that.
Stop talking. Okay. Not you, Renosuke. Okay.
Okay then.
No, I didn't mean it. No. Milverton. I don't see Milverton. There's no Milvertons here. There's no
Look at Graydon's description.
Graydon's description. Telegraph
Okay,
operators.
never mind.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, let's talk. I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Was some kind of business?
Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really.
Delivering fresh milk to locals, that's what it was all about.
That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate. But on what? The business model, the business name. Yeah, actually, I'm curious about the name.
The name
Yeah.
is probably the important part.
So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved.
Yeah, that's it.
Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run, was it?
Yeah, that's it.
And where did the Milverton part come from?
Yeah, right. I thought a clever dog like you would. Oh!
Enough of this! How much longer are we expected to listen to this dribble?
Objection! No, I'm interrupting you now. Let me guess. You don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. How many names do you have, dude? Tell me, why is it that it was only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject?
How many dead acquaintances do you have?
Dead acquaintances?
Huh?
Huh?
I mean, you have several.
I do? What are you implying?
I just might have several. That's nothing suspicious. Because well...
It weren't the happiest of homes that we'd come from.
Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much his wife walked out on him.
She took the name Graydon, then you see.
But
after all,
Ash
you
will
remember
always
his-
Nope,
be
nope.
Milverton to us.
I want to lie.
Milverton.
But it was my line.
It's hard to tell when they're chewing. I'm sorry.
So that used to be your surname, did it?
Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon.
Graydon.
Ah!
Well, it would appear that Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable. For once.
We proposed the theory that this guy might be this world's version of Moriarty, and I still really want that to be the case. I really want that.
I think it works.
Yeah.
You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct?
Very well, yes.
So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. Ashley Graydon's personal profile has been updated in the court record. A telegraph operator at the Central Communication Station, whose last name was once Milverton years ago, he's a child in front of the Skulkin brothers. Okay. Interesting. All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although all this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture at this stage.
It would be explain a number of things, though, wouldn't it? The negotiations Ginny overheard in the omnibus 2 months ago, and the breaking at the Windybacks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon that was in the omnibus, it was Mr. McGilded.
Okay. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker, who was so horribly murdered.
If only there was some link between the two men somehow.
I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination here could be those two brothers.
Chomp.
That.
Should I go to the last statement and press about what the business actually was?
I guess.
This bit. Hold it! Hold it again. I'm gonna speed through your dialogue real quick until we get to something interesting.
Talk.
Oh no, they're actually talking about how they did it now, didn't they?
Oh, are you serious? No, okay.
Oh, shoot.
Hold up. Oh, it even says press. That's nice. So, how did your little business work exactly?
Jay.
Oh, we passed it. Well, every morning we went down our way. The milkman would come with his car to deliver milk. See, and if you stuck your empties outside in the front door, he would leave them full again, right?
So we swooped on in on the action. Got people to sign up with us. We promised to deliver milk for half the price of other geezers doing it. People couldn't wait to sign on the dotted line. We were raking it in, we were.
So did you live on a dairy farm or something?
Gordon Bennett, are you off your rocker? We had nothing. We were too poor to have a farm.
Right.
Nah, what we had going on was simple ones who had the idea. We just switch them over, see? Our customers' empties were the full ones from anyone who wasn't in on our books.
A dawdle, right?
I think you meant to say a diddle, and that's a crime.
It was just an honest bit of fun, they told.
Milking the general public in such a fashion is most certainly not an harmless crime, as you put it.
Well, it was him that came up with the idea. Ash is the evil genius.
You mean Mr. Graydon? So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. Are we just repeating this? That information?
I don't think that did anything for us. Did you press Ringo's statement?
You hear that, Judge? We just busted a major dairy racket.
Solved a crime from like 15 years ago. You're talking about this bit?
Yeah, I don't think you pressed it.
I'll try it. Hold it. So, did you know nothing about this music box?
We didn't know nothing. We still don't know nothing. We ain't planning on knowing nothing about it either.
How did I miss this line? But 2 nights ago, you did indeed break into Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery, didn't you? In your original testimony, you said that the door of the shop was ajar, and that it was like some kind of a sign begging you to go in. But the truth is, you were planning to break into Windibank's all along, weren't you?
We were, Gov, we were. You're right there.
Because that's what we were told us to do. It was a play.
Eh. And why was it Mr. Graydon's plan to break in? And why was it Mr. Graydon's plan to break into Windibank's that night? Did you not ask the reason?
Well, he said the place was full of stuff worth nicking. That's what he told us beforehand, anyway. Turned out it was a load of cobblers, didn't it? I weren't best pleased, I can tell you.
In any case, if they know the real reason, it doesn't sound like they're going to give it away. I don't know if that did much for us either.
Did you? I also don't think you pressed the last statement. There's one more statement there at the very end.
Wasn't that what
So
we
I
just
looked
did?
up. I looked up
Oh,
cobblers
never mind. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
because I was not familiar with that one, and it is Cockney rhyming slang. The full phrase is "cobblers alls."
Oh.
What a load of alls rhymes with.
Well, look, we only done is break into the gap the other night, like what he told us to do. I feel like I feel like something got interrupted at some point on the line. Was it this one? Hold it. Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? Because I feel like Ringo spoke up in the middle of this one.
That's right.
Yep, let's just try to go through it again.
That's it, yeah, who was it? Jimmy thought he was, we're just popping over for a nap after all these years, but the water had a dodgy job for us.
Enough. Why don't you baddies desist this with the fiction?
Hey!
Obviously, I don't know where these men from Adam. Now, for the last time, stop trying to implicate me on your sordid thievery.
That's bloomin' nice, isn't it? You little turncoat. Fine if that's how you want it. Two can play at that game.
No,
We ain't never heard of this geezer before either. We don't know him from Adam.
no, Nash, no.
You insulted me. Never spoke to him before in my life. Never even seen him.
Never, Nash. Never.
Ousted. Good grief. Such a blatant lie will not stand in my courtroom.
Can we just put Graydon in prison, please?
Well, well. All I'll say is this.
Yeah, we already read that. That didn't help much either. Damn it.
Could we take a look through the evidence?
Sure. What would you like to look at?
The blood sample.
This one?
No, like the blood samples.
The portfolio.
This one.
Oh, so it does list the name. Oh, I thought we maybe get a last name for the other people here, but it's just still transpired here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to take a look at your evidence.
Well, okay. We got the fact that Graydon's last name used to be Milverton, but I'm not sure how that's connected yet. We already looked through the profiles and we didn't see any connection there.
Look at the tickets again.
The tickets, huh? Okay.
If you examine it, I believe it will actually say what it is in proper.
English?
Mr. Winnebank appears to have used the back of this photograph to write out a redemption ticket. He's written it very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had on hand. It's hard to know what's the front and what's the reverse side now. He had very, very good handwriting in that spot specifically. How about this one? Mr. Winnebank appears to have... Yep, okay, that's the same.
No. I thought maybe it would have a name on it.
Yeah. It was a good idea.
Is dates important?
The dates? Why would the dates be important?
Hold on.
Huh, what? Yes?
What is
That one
that
said-
red book?
Red
That one
book?
said February
Susato
15th, 10:30 p.m.
Oh,
Susato
I
gave
see.
Oh wait, this could be related though. Mason
Mason
Milverton! Susato!
Oh.
Susato! Okay, so wait, what am I presenting that to?
I'm no relation to the man.
No relation to Mr. Mason.
It was literally on the island we were already on.
Yes. So wait, maybe I should press before I do this, or should I just present it?
Have you pressed it?
You have pressed it.
I have, but
I mean,
we got
doesn't even
interrupted.
already say.
We got interrupted because they were like, "Oh, there's no way that this is related."
Well, doesn't it say I have no relation to the man in the statement, and that contradicts it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to
Yeah.
press it.
Maybe I should have.
It's a very common last name you see.
I should have just presented it. Yeah. Yeah. Shut up. Thank you, Nash. Okay.
You told me to speak.
I did, but now I'm shutting you up. Objection!
Shutting me up with what?
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court?
Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me.
No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. Was this man your father? The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name.
Explain yourself, please, counsel.
I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiating with McGilded...
Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton.
Milverton? Do you mean to say Saints alive?
Mr. Ashley Milverton, is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father?
Dun,
Oh!
dun.
I don't! As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you joined the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records.
Do it.
Ah,
Do it.
The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it onto McGilded in collaboration with your father.
ah!
The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth.
The truth, you say?
That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded.
By the dint of this music box, you mean, Counsel?
Yes. Stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands.
And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever.
Good job, sir.
The deal with McGill had been sour, and the brickmaker met his end.
Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learnt of the situation, you appeared at Windibanks 2 days ago in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there.
But that attempt failed.
One of the discs was seized by the police and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc.
Oh, are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? Eh?
We never knew nothing about that.
On the night that Mr. Windibank was killed.
Stereoscopically!
Do you understand the principle? The intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item and one item alone, the music box.
As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed.
So the question that naturally begs answering is this: why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Maybe this gives Gregson a little bit more credence. Maybe he's okay. Maybe. Since if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason.
Is there a low treason?
He's regular treason.
Just a little treason, you know? Well,
Just a
some
little
light
bit.
treason.
It has a little
treat.
treason.
You can have a little
Treatson.
treason as a tweet.
a little treason would be like
Treason.
telling the king to go screw off. I dialed that one down before it came out of my mouth. well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all of this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago?
I refuse to accept any of this nonsense.
Sir. There appears to be blood seeping the sleeve of your jacket. Did I miss that?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh, his wound.
Ah!
2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windibank's pawnbrokery. One took the life of the pawnbroker himself. One struck the pouch around Mr. Sholm's waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, That wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it?
He's got you now, me old China.
Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon.
Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstance whatsoever. Those are my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think that I could trust some common backslum thieves.
Huh.
Fine. I admit it. I was there at Winterbanks that night. I paid his pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGilded.
You can still dance while you have a bullet wound.
As God is my witness, I recall nothing of the sort.
Lunar, the show must go on.
He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact.
Which is?
Well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the two firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholm's waist. And the bullet from Mr. Winterbank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm.
Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Winterbank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder.
Goodness!
That's right, Mr. Graydon.
Gah.
The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Winterbank that night is you!
Hold it.
Hold it? Hmm? Eh?
Probably.
Whose fancy voice
I don't-
was that?
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Just once.
fuck you.
You little upstart! You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here.
What? What's that supposed to mean?
I'll shoot you.
Yes, as you rightly say, I will stay at the pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I had built for myself as a communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility?
What one?
What do you mean? What thought? What possibility?
The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed a crucial moment.
You also can't be trusted, so shut up.
That doesn't matter.
It kind of does.
You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client.
What?
Are you suggesting?
I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at the poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him.
Have you done one thing to suggest to this court that you were in any way reliable?
Is Gina reliable?
More than you!
Order, order. Well, it would seem that we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial.
Mr. Graydon. Yes? I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it was shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully.
Then I must ask you to give your final formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Nothing would give me a greater pleasure.
And stop dancing.
That was a bow.
This man has some extreme confidence.
While these drunkards were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop.
Oh, to have the confidence of a rich white boy.
When Windybank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shot himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door, though. The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood splatter all over that wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape.
I don't even think I really want to press you.
Good gracious! This is quite extraordinary lies. You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Order.
He saw the murderer pull the trigger because it was him.
It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is it my intent to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. Haha! Take that, Gina! So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation.
The truth.
Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details.
Yes, well, sorry about that.
Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood splattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat the pickpocket girl was wearing at the time.
But that...
Really?
That's not...
If her coat would somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here.
Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord.
What?
Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's to true science, not some amateur's detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry. There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all sound. Mostly. Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. With your lordship's permission. Ha! I would shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes.
Yes, you would.
Is it going to be the exact same thing?
It would be hilarious.
It would
God,
be
I
pretty
hope
funny.
it is.
This doesn't look good, Reno.
Why not?
Well, we know, don't we? That there's blood all over the front of Ginny's coat.
Yeah, but it's not the pawnbrokers. Isn't it thrice fired Masons?
Yeah, it's Mason's blood.
Yeah, it's
But can
my
they
old
identify
blood.
that? If they tested with the chemicals.
Oh help, you're right. Oh help. What are you talking about? I was forgetting.
Help.
I was forgetting what happened yesterday.
I think the thing they're saying is that they can identify blood, but they cannot identify whose it is. Don't move, Ginny, I'm going to shoot!
Purple.
Purple.
But that's
Blurple.
not Mr. Windebank's blood. That stain is from 2 months ago. That's Mr. Mason's blood from when he was stabbed by McGilded, who was wearing the coat at the time. Heh. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution.
Why? Overruled. Lord Van Zeeks, make it so at once.
With pleasure, my lord.
And while we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gina will be...
Counsel,
Yes, my lord!
your cross-examination.
Of course, my lord. If this
Well,
cross-
your inner monologue.
If this cross-examination doesn't go well, if I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or a really compelling clue now, I have a very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Now that I understand the problem, I get it too. Now,
There are a couple of things that came to my mind.
you don't say.
For one, the peephole was not there the entire time, you know.
Correct.
Has that been brought up?
It hasn't
No.
been brought up yet.
I'm tempted to
Okay.
mash the X button right now.
You can mash the X button.
Boop. Objection!
Present.
Aww.
Let's just consider the implications of that statement for a moment, shall we? This is not going to work. Really?
Maybe we haven't established that there is the peephole in that picture.
What implications,
Do we
counsel?
need to examine it first?
We already have, but I don't think we can really inspect anything there.
Yeah, all I can do is bring up
I
the...
think we're just another step ahead, I
I guess so.
Nothing strikes me about it.
But exactly, there's nothing striking about it.
And that's what's striking.
Yeah. What does strike me is your propensity for the inane, however.
I need to clear my head and come at this again from a different angle!
Yeah, Chad has a point. Sometimes we get more specific codes when we press them, so.
Alright, I'll press. Hold it! Heh. You mean you chased after him?
I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop.
And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Let's get into that.
Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom door is a solid job, made out of stout wood. There's a small opening in it about 8 height that lets you see what's in there from the outside.
Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night.
Ooh, nice eyes.
Got pretty eyes.
And what about your burgling brothers? Did you see what went through this peephole as well?
Not like the golf.
Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov.
I doubt even these two buffoons were even aware of the people's existence.
So the Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windebank take place.
Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there.
The defendant?
Yes, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised a gun and pointed straight at the man.
And then, what did you see next?
They didn't... They didn't give me
Didn't
anything?
miss anything.
Alright, should I
I
just
guess
start...
it's. I guess the peephole is not what we should be focusing on at this point.
Okay, Lunar, you mentioned that there was something else that stood out to you.
There was something else, and now I have forgotten what it was.
Okay.
Damn it.
Well, I guess it's present time. Let's go. Hold it.
I just want to take a bite. I haven't had a time the entire stream.
Nope. Mr. Windebank emerged from the storeroom, I believe.
Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had a revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close.
I've never been so scared in all my life.
Yeah, but we're just your regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence.
Says the pair who carry a gun. You shot
Speaking
Perla.
of, speaking of guns, I just remembered what the other thing was.
Oh, hey.
What's that?
Gina had a gun in her hand.
She
when
did.
they found her.
She did.
However, he is claiming that she threw the gun out of the people.
Oh, yeah. Wow, Graydon. Oh God. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop?
I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items.
Looking for the music box, of course.
The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So I assumed they couldn't handle the situation. But I was wrong.
I was trying to help me little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me over the blooming counter.
So I pulled me gun on the fella, and that soon made him scamp.
Scarper.
Whatever.
Got those weird.
I'll allow it.
The pair of you settling upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together, shame on you.
Sorry, girl.
Sorry, Gov.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let's get into it about that. Saw the blood splatter all over the girl. She tossed the gun out the peephole. Now hold up. Hold up, my friend. This one belongs to... Okay, Gina was holding. Yes. Take it.
There's a picture of Gina, isn't there?
There are more things maybe we should look at.
I don't... There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness. This isn't gonna work either?
There's cleansing odd in here indeed. Your behavior, counsel.
Oh, haha, please don't mind me.
That would be significantly easier if you would lower your hand.
I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence, as long as it's quite quick. But that should work.
Hold on, take a look at your evidence again.
But I don't
Yeah, I
think-
don't get the reason.
Wasn't there a picture of Gina holding the gun?
We have this picture here. We do not have a picture of Gina lying on the floor. That's
We're
it.
not talking about that picture.
We're talking about the picture of her standing in the main room, holding Windibank's gun.
What would this prove?
That's the gun she had.
Yeah, but he's
Graydon
saying...
is arguing that Gina had the gun that Graydon left with. That is not the case. She was holding Windibank's gun.
Yeah.
Is that what he's...
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's what he's saying? Oh, crap.
He's saying that he took the gun that Iris threw out the door.
Not Iris.
Well, no, Gina.
Gina.
I guess I missed that bit. That's my fault.
Yeah, he said that in his testimony. What's your
No,
feeling, Reno?
As much as I hate to admit it, I don't see any obvious holes in his testimony. This is garbage.
But you have to find a way to break this man.
And quickly, too, because once they discovered the blood on the overcoat Gina was wearing...
Just say, hey, the blood that we admit is on the overcoat is Mason's.
Will they believe that?
Prove it isn't.
It's a bit strange he's so sure of himself about seeing the blood splatter over Ginny's coat. It doesn't strike me as the sort of thing you would claim if you hadn't genuinely seen it happen.
But we know that Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank, so what's going on?
All I know is that it's very unfair. Why should some German scientist's test be acceptable as evidence when mine wholly wasn't? Detectives can use test tubes too.
Never mind that. I have to find a really stark inconsistency in this testimony somewhere. And I have to find it before the prosecution discovers the blood stain on Gina's coat. Okay, so just to get into it, this last bit here, She tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. So are you guys? Because I just tried to present the correct gun, and it didn't take.
Yeah, but that is, we can't prove by just presenting the correct gun that it was Gina showing it.
Present the picture of Gina holding the gun.
Okay. This time I'm gonna save because I've just made 2
Yeah,
errors.
that's a good idea, because it can still be wrong.
Okay. All right, you want to take this picture? This one. Here you go.
Never said Luna's reasoning was correct. I just wanted to support her case.
Come on!
Your Honor, I motion to dropkick Saps across the courtroom.
Twice!
There's
Fuck
clearly,
you!
there's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness. I'm going back. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not.
Otto!
Nope. Here it goes. Loading. Yes. Jackass. Anyway.
Wasting our time.
Saw the blood splatter all over that wretched girl. The accused in a black God, now I don't even. Now I have no clue what I've looked at and what I haven't. I think that we've pressed the
Only
first
this
one.
statement you pressed.
No, I think we pressed the first one too.
Okay. Saps, you clearly know how this case goes.
Oh, I
do we
don't
need to
remember
press-
how to get there though.
Fuck. Do we need to press something so that he reveals something so that we can present something?
That's what I'm guessing we need to do, because if his alibi is airtight, that means we need to break it by talking to him.
I'm pretty sure that we've pressed on 1 and 3 and maybe the last one, so I'm gonna do this like Hold it! Hold
Press
it!
smaller. Okay, gotcha.
You mean that's the moment you were shot?
Yes. Though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the 3 men were brawling. It was exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshots.
And the bullet went on to strike the calendar on the wall behind you.
So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later.
It's a gunshot.
Yes, I have never been shot before.
Fair enough.
Did Mr. Winterback attempt to shoot you, do you think? Well now, I didn't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, I didn't quite strike home.
When I pulled me gun on him, he tried to shove me out the way.
And then he scarpered through that door out back.
At which point, what did you do?
Peephole.
Yep.
Well,
okay.
no, that's later.
This is the one
No,
that we've
that's
already.
now.
This is the one that we've already read. So now we'll go here. No.
Nice one.
You hold it. Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Winterbank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you.
Ah, but no. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. This would have explained it. Yes, the bullet from Winterback's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Skullkid's gun grounded the detective. But this was not a gun entirely. A third gun! The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time.
Shut up, Enzi. But no other gun was found at the scene.
I explained this! Calm yourself, counsel.
Sorry.
You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other. But then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at that moment, that little gunner rat shot him in the back.
A chilling image, I must say.
Okay. Hold it! Hold it! All over her?
Yes, through the peephole I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now. What with the coat being such a dark color. But I assure you, that garment is solid with the victim's blood.
Well, it is solid with blood, that's for sure.
But it's not Mr. Winterbeck's blood, is it? I was in the middle of yawning.
No, that's right. Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from when McGill stabbed him 2 months ago.
It's so annoying. If we only accept Hurley's chemical analysis, we could prove that.
But they won't, so unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case.
Bother. Oh, bother.
Oh, bother. Uh-oh, I pressed everything. Unless I
Press it
didn't...
again!
Everything.
I don't think you pressed the first statement.
I'll press it again. I'll go back. Here it is.
Press it again.
Hold it. Mr. Winterbank emerged from the storeroom, I believe.
Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He only had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close.
Oh,
I never been so scared in all my life.
well, we definitely haven't read this.
Yeah, we're just a regular mild man of burgers. Burgers.
Burgers!
I'm the cheese, you're the ham.
Yes, the burger cheeks.
You're right, Nash. You're right.
Huh.
It's all. We don't
What?
like violence. I think we have read this. Actually.
Huh, says the pair who carry a gun. Okay. Should I start skipping?
Hey, maybe we haven't. I don't know. They tend to repeat themselves sometimes.
Yeah. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop?
I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items.
Looking for the music box, of course.
The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong.
Read all this.
Yeah, we read this.
We read all this! I knew I read all this! I knew! I was aware. Damn it! So now what? When Winterbank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door. What do you mean it is not this? What are you talking about? What are you on about?
Could you
This
examine the
picture-
picture maybe and try again?
I mean, magnifying glass. Here it is.
Yeah.
This is everything I could do with the photograph.
Maybe after we examined it or pressed the statement that they pointed out to people, we can now use the picture.
I'll try it. Hold it! Press number 2, let's go. You mean you chased after him?
I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop.
And what
I thought
about
we
this
had to press this.
peephole in the door you mentioned?
Well, unsurprisingly, storeroom doors a solid job. Made us. Oh, I already said this.
Sure
made
did.
of stout wood. Small opening. Head out. Let you see what's on there.
Actually, I know that. I looked through it myself. I have pretty eyes.
There's a lot of hearts in them.
Yeah, the chat does point out. Did we ever press the last statement?
Oh, I'll try it. Oh, I'll try it.
Peephole. Buffoons!
Damn it!
Storeroom.
Defendant?
Yes.
By Jove!
Girl.
Then
Under pressure. Okay.
Accused. Blood. Gun.
Hold!
Danny?
Did?
Right.
exactly.
Storeroom.
Wait, I think this is actually new.
Yeah, I think it's definitely.
I don't know if I believe that. Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room.
That's right. After the broken fell to the door floor, she started walking over.
Judge.
Over where exactly?
In the direction of the storeroom door. To where I was standing watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then... the girl dropped the gun through the people onto the floor on my side of the door.
But why on earth would she do such a thing?
I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. This voice is all over the place right now.
It's fine.
Without thinking, I went to pick it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there in case any more tragedies took place. Squint. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours truly.
I hate you.
I hate me too.
Clear up.
We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistling Flute there told us to tidy up.
He thinks our bloomin' mom, or he thinks he's our bloomin' mom sometimes.
Well, I was paying you enough, by God!
Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket?
You little toe rag!
You're looking full gate, aren't you?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh!
Wow.
What's happening here?
What's going on? Excuse me.
What?
Gentlemen.
I can finally take a break, maybe.
Hey.
Hey there. How you do? Are you?
Yeah. Something wrong, sunshine?
That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin! Whoa, Game Consoles man, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Man, that notification is loud.
Blimey. This day is a bit of a hooligan, ain't he?
What was going on just now?
You saw me grab me whistle. And why in blazes he said, didn't you mention the third gun when you got to the station?
And why didn't you?
'Cause we didn't know nothing about it. Nor that peephole in the door.
Sorry about that. I can be frozen to losing my rags sometimes. Not right, are you?
Oh, blimey, see the way he's looking at me? I tell you, this thing gives me the willies.
That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone.
No, that wasn't like Rexy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him.
Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris.
Oh,
thank you! Love you guys.
Thank you.
Oh,
Aw,
that's nice of
to
you.
say.
Appreciate it.
Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character.
Okay. Oh my god, that's the end. Oh my god.
Oh, we just had to press every
Oh
stick.
my god, I bungled all of that so hard. Holy crap.
I do wonder if you only need to press all the necessary information, like the third and the last statement.
I was just so certain on 2 counts that I already knew what the problem was, but there was no
Yeah,
problem,
me
I guess. I don't know who's saying my lord. Oh, it's you.
Baffling.
Okay.
My lord! Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination!
Explain yourself, officer.
I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord!
Ah, the blood on the accused overcoat.
Yep, it's blood.
Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, Control?
No, my lord.
Good.
Well, there you have it.
The report, please, Inspector.
Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of a spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report.
Goodness me!
Wait a minute. What did he just say? From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of splattering following a gunshot wound, but that's false. That's not the truth. Huh.
It
Would appear, so it's not 100% sure.
Hmm.
Whoa.
Yes! I win.
No.
I win.
No.
I win.
Objection. No! The blood on that coat is not Mr. Windibanks.
But I said I win.
What on earth made you say that, Counsel?
Go to jail, do not collect $200. The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Windibanks, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. What?
Huh?
Sorry? Huh?
We had proof that he didn't. I don't think that's been like made clear. Has that been made clearly yet, or do we?
Yeah,
do
that
we
has been
just
made
know?
clear.
Yeah, that's definitely been made clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I think we
Everyone
have
knew that.
mentioned that he killed somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure that was just
Original.
something that we knew, or if that's something that the court knew.
No,
No,
the
we
court-
had a whole thing about like, you will be punished for this after trial, depending on how it goes.
Yeah, the court's already
Oh,
mad at
okay,
us because
right.
we
I
knew that.
remember now.
Yeah. So the blood on the
Been a
overcoat
week or two.
is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Also, see you, games.
Later.
Have fun.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
The dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? This isn't the future Ace Attorney.
What I wanted to be. Sorry.
2 months ago in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently that for Mr. McGilded's innocence?
Yeah, but we've already declared that it was bullcrap.
And yet now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer.
Yes!
I was the attorney.
That makes it worse.
No.
Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country.
Why is this last bit of this trial frustrating me so much? But that was...
I call it a belly disgrace. Treachery is what it is.
Are you ready?
How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? Allow me to... No. Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. It can't be done. But we use Mr. Sholmes' specially... Blah!
Mr. Schultz is a detective, not a chemist! Where is my scalpel?
Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer?
They killed up Perushki to starving boy, and he ran away crying.
What are you on about?
It's best.
You see, is when you take some meat and some vegetables and you put it in the dough and then you fry the dough. It's delicious.
Sounds good.
Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all.
How could you say that?
I win.
No! Shut up!
Shut the fuck up.
This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from the start to finish.
Dropkick you in the head.
Try me, little man.
I have a sword.
You can't dropkick with a sword.
Oh. Order.
Alright.
How do you reach such conclusions, sirs?
As the witness said, the accused's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known that fact is if he saw it happen.
No, Gomez, no.
In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. I win.
that's probably the bailiff, right? Or sorry, Buffalo.
My lord!
My lord.
Oh.
Been a long battle, this one. But this old war horse has something to say now, if you please.
Oh, you want to go a third time? That's cool.
Mr. Foreman?
As of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now.
Sir!
Sir.
Guilty.
I can't believe you guys.
Guilty.
I cannot believe you.
Guilty.
Guilty?
Guilty. Guilty.
I cannot believe any one of you six. I cannot believe you.
Alright, let's get this over with.
After all this, you guys think that Graydon did not do it. Jay?
Zyron.
Oh, okay. When do you want?
Oh.
Whoa.
Judge Wander?
What? Wander?
Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict.
The defense has consistently failed to unpick his witness's testimony.
They didn't arrest him.
Here's to any attempt you may make in unpicking the juror's decision being equally successful.
I don't believe it. After I've come so far, how is it all unraveling on me so fast? Oh my god. Eh? Oh, I think I know who that is. That gotta be her.
Oh! Wait, her? Oh, how very distressing.
Why are you speaking?
No, Jay's correct.
What?
Her is in Herlock, right? That's who you meant?
No!
No.
Jay was thinking of someone else. No, Arik was thinking of someone else, but I think Jay is the correct one here.
Oh, I thought her.
Go for it,
her.
Jay. Go for it.
To be held in such low esteem. Wouldn't you have?
No.
Oh my god.
Is it Saps?
No.
Up, officer. You deliver the report now. That'll be all. Thank you.
It occurs to me with some regularity that Miss Naruhodo, that scientific truths are determined not by science,
No.
but by none other than the human mind.
Oh my god.
I know that voice. I thought my friend Susanoo was back, but it was my other, much weirder friend. Am I going mad? Ah!
There he is.
There he is.
Mr. Sholmes!
What is the meaning of this? This has to be some kind of a crime. Order.
He's impersonating an officer? Yeah?
Yeah.
Kinda? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's illegal.
What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in the hospital.
As well I should be, had I not been sent upon an errand.
What? Errand? Honey, it's really you. You're awake at last.
Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to arise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me.
In what manner, sir?
I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time?
Gregson is pissed.
What have you to say to this, Lord Van Zeeks?
This trial has taken many hours of the court's time. Having spent so long already.
Exactly. Having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time.
As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would be seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes.
Very well, then. Council, you have 5 minutes.
I keep trying to figure out where this game is going, so I think I'm just gonna stop trying to do that.
Yeah.
My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival.
Mr. Sholmes, are you all right now?
All right, I am all wrong.
Sorry.
I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man, and I've asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear even that might prove too much for me. Pray forgive me if I pass out.
Let's make this discussion as short as possible.
Hurley! This place is full of idiots! None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is.
Ah, well, that concoction of mine really was just a bit of a sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for the appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part.
Right. Modesty? Surely not.
But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow.
What's that?
Oh,
A lavender furoshiki wrapping?
Susanna?
Mm-hmm.
A leaving present from Miss Susato.
From Miss Susato.
We're technically correct, but not entirely, Arky.
If possible, matters would be settled without me giving you this. These were her instructions when she asked me to do this, or her this favor.
I don't understand. Oh,
Miss Susato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means of both devious and underhanded. And that you, Miss Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in a considerable peril. At that moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions.
a leaving present from Susato-san. Whatever could it be? Oh, okay. What is this?
Oh! It's the machine I made!
Ah! Man, I didn't need to be reminded. I remembered. Damn it. Meow!
Look, I used this! It's my latest invention.
What is that?
I call it the cat flapper-mat. It can make a cat flap in a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. What's Susie's up to?
Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left. I am a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant.
What? Didn't she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes?
That night, when you left Wendy Banks to pursue the thieves, Miss Susato made it your use of this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, my dear friend.
Not at all cryptic then. Susato-san used this cat flapper-mat that night, but why? The cat flapper-mat has been entered into the court record. Okay, this explains it. Did she just take it with her when we went to go investigate things? Huh.
Was it to steal the manuscript?
No, I think...
Probably.
Well, the thing with the manuscript oh my god. The thing with the manuscript happened before all of this. So, I think
that's true.
I think maybe
He was to put it back.
this is being used to trap Graydon, I guess?
Your 5 minutes is over.
Bah, we're out of time already.
By the end of this, he's just going to be drinking straight from the bottle.
Nah, he'll throw that too.
He has thrown it.
True.
I'm grateful for you for affording us the brief recess, Mr. Reaper.
I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast.
Is it really?
The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination.
Mm-hmm.
But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile.
Yeah, because the summation examination hasn't brought any results in the past.
Never, never, never. I wonder. Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes.
the rest is down to you, my dear fellow. What is your plan?
The rest is down to me. I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests summation examination. Right? Why wouldn't it?
Further cross
Maybe not.
Wait, further cross-examination. Because now I can present the cat Flapomat to Graydon? It is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it
I
is.
mean, you can try. You know what? Save. Can you save?
Sure, yes I can. I'm gonna do it. Here I go. It's happening. It's happening right now. No summation examination required, even though it's my favorite. Further cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine the new witness now.
Objection. The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness, rather to continue with one of an existing witness.
What?
It would appear that rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. My lord!
Yeah.
Good impersonation, Sholmes.
I know, right? Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination!
Master of disguise.
Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, Counsel?
But, no, my lord.
So nobody can say anything then. If we're not to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon.
The court is obliged to allow it.
This is absurd!
I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its right to request the continuation of the cross-examination.
I like this judge.
However, I will not permit any unremitting protraction.
Protraction.
Yes, of those proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. You get one word. Counsel, you may choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, and but one piece of evidence to present in support of your argument against it.
A single chance to present evidence.
If, following that, the situation seems unchanged, I shall move to education. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further.
My lord.
Yes, my lord.
A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Miss Naruto, it's high time that I fell in a dead faint.
Oh no.
I leave this in your capable hands.
Ragdolled.
Mr. Shums! He's dead. He's actually just dead.
I'm surprised it didn't bounce with that ragdoll.
He went full source on that one.
To stand so instantly before the court in a state of such high fever.
Your Honor, I think you're just making up words now.
I don't know where these words come from.
Me neither, sir.
Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling.
I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers.
Strike a man when he's down, why don't you?
Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared?
Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Sholmes down. Or Iris.
What about Gina?
Her,
Oh, definitely.
Her neither, but she hasn't talked in a while, and I won't waste this final chance that Suzato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of this trial.
Very well then, under the terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
Okay. Now, I still feel like what I did before should have been fine, but that's fine. Here we go.
Save.
Oh, new music. Ooh.
Before you couldn't really prove without a doubt that those were the cases. That is the main thing.
Pretty sure that I don't need them, but that's okay. Pursue the man, you can see him through the peephole, present. Here you go, my friend, take this.
Objection!
What on earth is an erratic contraption, counsel?
Eccentric.
Oh, that's my cat flapper-mat, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can cut through any door you can think of and make a new little door in the middle of it.
That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please without their owners having to open the main door.
I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves. But that cat lover's contrivance has no relevance to this case.
Oh, really?
Oh, of course it doesn't. To start with, there's no cat flap in the pawnbroker's store.
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand.
Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way, then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windibank had taken place.
That's right. According to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes.
Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at that time.
Your assistant did what?
There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom.
This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much as my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake?
Yes. How could you? How could you?
What?
Counsel, kindly say what you mean.
All right, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through.
What? No!
Objection!
This is a farce! Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was...
It was created only after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistant using this device.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene while being fully aware of the gravity of her actions. That is a most serious act of vandalism.
For which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I had left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Ha! Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes.
Riddled with... Explain yourself, counsel!
The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door.
Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back.
However, if at the time of the incident that peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. How did he know about the peephole in the first place then? In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies.
Ugh.
Order! Is there any credence in this revelation?
Objection!
None whatsoever. As my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly! This is just a cheap trick to decide to discredit me.
I'm afraid not, sir.
Of course it is. Do you seriously expect people to believe that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door?
I'd like a door to use this on, I guess.
Oh yes, I decided to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors. That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second. I had a feeling you'd say that. What? Waggy Cooey! It's time for dinner!
Who?
She just used it
Oh.
without permission.
Oh.
Meow. Love that cat.
Well?
Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling at the Old Bailey.
Bailey.
Oh, just not simply.
I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom door at the Winnebago was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was. Especially not stereoscopically. No? But it's easy. What? The cat flap by cat flap map creates all of it fixed size. And the dimensions of the people at Windybanks are the exact match. Old Silky's lost for words.
Excellent work, Iris. Thank you.
And now it's my learned friend's turn to be the lost for words, I feel.
Eh?
I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home.
Well, yes, that's true.
Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let's assume the peephole was dimensions that are a perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the peephole cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
Bah!
What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zeeks?
It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the facts. There is no proof.
Bah!
And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation.
Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Zeeks. Well, counsel.
I,
Don't give up now, Reno. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through.
I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world. Yeah.
Very well. The counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door of the Winterbank storeroom was created after the event and not before.
Take that.
Easy.
Fuck. A print from that detective's infernal cameras again.
I want to scream at this game that this should have worked early. It's fine. It's fine. My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is this photographic print, Counsel?
This print shows a scene in the shop mere moments before, after the defendant entered the premises.
Agreed. It also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker.
But more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background.
Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. This is really quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole of any description. Why didn't you mention this earlier?
Mr. Creighton, I'm mad at you. You couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door.
Ugh.
In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies.
Do it again.
And now he's standing upright.
I bounced.
Order! Stop pirouetting in my courtroom. I am not satisfied that the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all, I am. Beyond all reasonable doubt.
Okay,
Change my mind.
back down.
Good catch.
Judge.
Oh, the witness's testimony was entirely fallacious. And delicious.
That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubts. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with the crime scene.
Can we deal with it later?
We literally cannot deal with it earlier.
Alright.
She's in Japan. I cannot deal.
Yeah.
But more importantly,
Good lord! There's more Lord Van Zinks?
the defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right.
No, it's
What?
not.
I was there at the scene. It's true. And I was shot in the arm. It's true. But that's all.
When did we get
Yes,
to slap?
in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here.
Shut up! I don't believe
Sure,
this.
you're the victim.
But they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he's the culprit.
Still, he can't worm his way out of it now.
Iris, you're getting quieter.
You know what they say.
Oh,
There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted.
Huh?
Isn't that right, Truno? As Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait. That may have been the line I wrote for him in one of my stories.
Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense.
Makes no sense. What do you mean by such a remark?
What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements.
What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, Counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency.
Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely, the third gun, the peephole, the blood... Oh, the peephole. Yes. Yes, the peephole.
No.
I mean,
No?
No?
How would he have known there were bloodstains on the coat if he didn't see the murder happen? Because we
Yeah.
know that there are bloodstains on the coat.
Yeah, but the court only found that out just now. And we only knew about it because of Herlock's thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
But how do you know about the people?
I understand your reasoning, but I also feel like the peephole should also work. You know what? I'll save
was
it.
there
we've
during the
been talking
investigation.
we've been talking about the peephole in this whole trial.
Right.
He knew about it because we
Oh,
talked about it.
that's true. Okay. All right, I'll take that. I'll take
And
that.
the
The
people was there
bloodstains.
during the investigation.
Well, was he there during the
He
investigation?
could have found out.
The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat.
That's right. The victim's blood splattered all over her when she shot him.
But how could you possibly have known that?
Obviously because I saw her do it through the people in the...
The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing.
You're not making any sense.
Then let me ask you a simple question.
No.
How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door?
I guess
What?
both must,
Well,
or I guess both must have been right.
I guess.
obviously You know, the people is the suspicious thing here.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, our candidates.
I mean,
Has
the-
the cat got to a tongue, witness?
I picked the other option and it still gave me it, so... The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since at that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Yes, of course. Place is chock full of porn articles, and my lads have to go thoroughly examine them all. So I give them the order to have officers working around the clock in shifts, so we get through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms your basis of testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door.
How on earth is that possible?
Oh,
Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zeeks?
You fucked up, Inspector.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so it's all the same to you.
Permission denied.
Bugger.
It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes.
Gregson, what did you do?
Of course, sir.
Mr. Graydon? You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications.
Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person it could be. I mean, it really spelled it out.
Who is the person in question, Counsel? Who gave the witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
I kind of wish that this game... I know. Why does this game keep doing this? Like, just before it asks you the question, it kind of really hints at it. Have you guys noticed that? Yeah.
It's probably because if you weren't... For us, it's been like 3 weeks since they had a conversation between each other.
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Me?
Objection!
You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend.
Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today.
Indeed. Preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency during our hour-long recess, while the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here for the communications station.
And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would have suddenly been required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such time he was summoned?
Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have had to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder.
You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received information, so that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin.
Oh yeah, didn't we see them talking?
Yeah, that's when. That's exactly when. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
This is a bloomin' outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigation to this fella, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Have you forgotten that?
Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
Which means... the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed, following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred.
Ah!
Oh, I just remembered something, Reno.
What is it, Iris?
They did talk. I think it was when Ginny was testifying.
Oh, yes, now that you mention it. When the bailiff was, Baffleaf was dispatched to retrieve McGilded's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it!
Music box?
What did I say? Sorry? Did I say something?
Okay. You said McGilded's McMusic box.
Oh, God. I'm tired. That's it. It was during that testimony. Yep. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. It wasn't very secret. They did a bit bad. it would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then.
You little toe rag. You're making all this up. I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector for crying out loud. What would I do something like that? Confidential details to the likes of this bloke.
Gregson, are you sulky skulking? Are you actually?
My true identity.
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps
Fish and chips skulking.
it was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make more sense.
Eh?
Oh,
What?
sorry.
What?
Sorry.
What deal, Council?
Van Zeke's sobbing at me from across the room. I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector. His food. His food.
Or maybe it was, you know, important government stuff.
No, it's probably food.
Fair enough.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance.
Malfeasance.
Yes.
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusation is this Nipponese student's specialty.
But I don't do that. I do that a lot.
But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent that the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim.
Evidence.
Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal.
If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it.
You know, do you think it could be?
Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle.
I must press you for an answer now, Counsel, before I lose my mind. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness?
I'm not completely sure. Is it the other music box disc?
Maybe.
I'm not sure. Even if that is the answer, I'm not sure what I would present. Maybe the music box that's missing one? Or the one that I already have?
What all do we have?
I'm also not convinced that's even right. Does anybody have a better suggestion than that?
Well, the only thing I know that he wants is to know what's written about him. But we don't have the manuscript, do we, in evidence?
Oh, you think
Oh.
you think
Oh,
he
yeah.
cared that much about that?
It's the only thing we've gotten besides what if he ran a fish and chips? That's all. That's
You
the
know,
only
this-
thing we know about.
I would
That-
say it before doing that.
That's a shockingly good suggestion, actually. I'm gonna go with that.
Oh.
Also, Chad asks, how late can you go tonight? I'm guessing not.
I am going to go until 10 and no later.
Yeah.
All right. Because I was thinking like he's probably like tangentially involved with the whole government investigation about leaking secrets and all that.
Mhm.
But Jay could be right. It could be the manuscript.
That's just
Wasn't
such.
the manuscript just found in the storeroom?
Yeah, it
Wasn't
was
it
there
in
when
the
we got
chest?
there.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, this is a shit-tastic reason for him to do this. I'm willing to try it.
Take that!
Take that. This, my lord. This shows exactly what the deal between those two men was all about. Uh-oh.
Well, Inspector, what do you have to say for yourself? Dear me, it appears this answer has in no way satiated your appetite.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go ahead and reload the save then. Thank you. It was a good idea. It was a good idea.
Yeah, but Ashley didn't have any connection to the manuscript at all.
Yeah.
It was in the same building. I thought maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
That's a good
leaves
thought, though.
that leaves me with the music box disc. I'm not sure which one of these two I would. I'm gonna go with this one because he did actually end up having it. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go with it. Take that. Yeah. Inspector Gregson. Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case?
What are you getting at now, sunshine?
Is it possible that this other top secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice.
Out in the bleeding Nora, could you?
We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGilded. A special McMusic box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in McGilded's possession are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case.
You little... Oh!
Order.
On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windibanks, you said this.
I'll be taking about whatever it is from McGilded down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Scotland Yard already knew at that time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets.
My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry. And do it on the QT. Secretly, hush.
And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information.
Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't sure of it myself. I realised there was a possibility, that's all.
Inspector Shirley.
It's Inspector
Surely
Gregson.
Inspector Gregson, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal the confidential details of the crime scene to the witness?
Still judging.
To aid and abet this man to giving false testimony?
There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men.
No!
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion
Sobering.
turns out to be funded in truth, I know what I said.
Sobering.
You think I care? I will kick you.
We've seen how high he can kick. I would be afraid.
Oh god, you're right. He's gonna get me. Oh no.
It would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom.
Wait, what? In his room on Gregson? How could you possibly make a claim like that?
Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective.
What?
What's that supposed to mean, eh?
As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly, he would not have accepted the gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious! Then you mean to say... Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession. He has the second disc actually on his person.
Yes!
Yes, finally came back. It's so fitting.
Brought it back. The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once.
Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before. And Grugsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since.
My lord, please. Order examination of his personal effects immediately.
But her next book is gonna have so many things on him.
Well, Inspector.
It's times like these a man has to do things with dignity. Skedaddle! This young lad wants to turn down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough. However, if he'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search.
What? He's going to agree to it?
I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you are now teeter, my learned student friend. You made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you'll be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end. And my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded.
That sounds serious.
Indeed. To have a student make such a defamatory remark about our country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
You're just threatening Runo because you're scared. The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences.
It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here.
Very well, Counsel. You know the implications. Let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects?
Search someone else.
Search someone else.
Save.
Well, before that, let's have a think. Who we talk about?
Moriarty?
That's not his name, but
Ashley.
I'm tempted to think that that's the only likely option that I would go with. Right? I'm gonna say I'm gonna try that. That's what's happening. We're doing that. Okay.
Do a switcheroo.
Yeah. You better know this game because his name because it's Ashley. That's good. All right. Search someone else. Yes, the defense formally demands the search be conducted.
Well,
Don't say you weren't warned. Your typical Nippony stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good.
Fair enough. I've got nothing to hide.
very well then. Barfleaf, conduct a search of the inspector's house.
Objection! The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson. I left my slap in my other pants.
What?
Now what's all this then? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? Thought you wanted to search me.
Mm-mm. No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else.
What's the meaning of all this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, sunshine? court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational.
Iris?
Be quiet, all of you.
I think it's Van Zeeks.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be.
It is Iris, okay.
Oh, okay.
Reno's doing what you told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way.
It's the British way.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense's counsel's conviction, and eagerly awaits his next words.
You what? That obeys him, my lord.
If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today, I'm fairly sure that I know who has the disc at the moment. There's only one person it could be.
Counsel, of whom do you request the search now?
I guess you. Take that!
Me.
Mr. Ashley Graydon, my lord. The defense demands that he be searched at once.
Not Nash?
Very well.
Oh.
I presume you will not protest, Mr. Graydon?
Oh, he got handsy with Nash earlier. Oh, it is Nash. Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh wait, I actually said it as a joke.
Wait, really?
I don't know.
That's right when he was like roughing up Nash.
He did it on purpose. Wait, maybe it's not. Maybe it is.
Au
Graydon.
contraire.
It's gotta be.
Oh no. And so a brief body search was carried out by the court bailiff. A few short minutes later, it was revealed that Mr. Green had nothing unusual on this person at all.
Oops.
You fucked up, Sappy.
Oh, you only lost one life.
It's
Well,
not good. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay, it's fine. It's
right
fine.
back. Okay. Oh my god, that. Oh man.
Only
So, yeah,
one.
I
Don't-
actually said it 100% as a joke. I forgot.
That's
That
like
happened.
that's like the sneakiest thing that this game has done yet. Take
Yeah.
that of my lord,
Kind of impressed.
Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Well, I never.
Blimey!
Hey!
Ew!
Well, very well then, Bopperleaf. Restrain the witnesses and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Please, my lord.
Inspector?
Scotland Yard. Asked to object to this search.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. In this courtroom, only the prosecution and defense have the authority to object.
At Ark, more sneaky than double pressing Gina to get McGilda to speak up. Admittedly, I do hate it when its attorney does that.
But more fancy. So body on
I
charm. More
have
charm.
no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial.
Bopperleaf, carry out the search. Now hold on a moment. I don't know nothing about no disc. I don't.
Roughly.
Yeah, my lord! In the witness's pockets! I found this!
Good lord, that's
Another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about it! I don't know!
This is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Nyah! Is it not, Inspector Gregson?
No! Order! Mr. Skulkin, what do you have to say for yourself?
Gordon Bennett, you're Gordon Fleming Bennett, I know. I swear I didn't know nothing about the disc. Honest to God.
Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck was between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
Then for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
I don't recall. What unusual behavior?
It was, yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket?
I admit to nothing of the sort.
While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, he did all. Tommy Nugget was gonna go clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born. As me brother I was.
And what exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got a clue. He decided to try to grab me while I was... He just started shaking me. Why had the blazing jaw mention the third gun? When he got down to the station. That's what he said. He held it right into my whole ear, he did. My head's still throbbing now.
The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character, but looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wig! He hid it?
You.
But I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions.
My orders were to cover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush.
Hush, hush. A top secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen from confidential government communications. It would seem that if that information were to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector?
I'm operating under direct orders from the ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to just answer that question.
So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc that you had acquired from the witness.
Ha! Does this mean?
He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him to slip the second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense? Well now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon, are you prepared to admit the accusation made against you of this alleged deal?
Admit to it, yours truly, please.
Mr. Graydon.
Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed the disc to the inspector.
Objection! Objection! Huh. But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole?
I'm under no obligation to explain.
Wow. What?
Fair enough.
Yes, I lied in my testimony. I admit that. Just sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with the detective. All of it's this young Eastern man's fancy. I have no idea what any of that is all about.
You... Oh my god. Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc?
No. Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done is been in the name of justice. So, as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions. I'm not of this country.
This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter of the jury to their final leanings.
Well now, as a fellow servant of Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector.
Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character.
Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me.
New stick.
Well, as a fellow professional, I would like to put my faith in the detective, really.
Graydon is highly skilled operator, stop. Currently in presence of idol, stop.
Detective has very much trust in eyes. More than this, I cannot say.
I don't believe it. These 6 jurors are... They're going to believe Gregson if they declare their decision now.
Is Ginny going to be found guilty?
If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose. Either some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windibank or stole those government secrets, or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness.
Well then, counsel. I think it's time I impose on the jurors to declare their final decisions, no? That is, unless you have some other compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court.
If I let the judge call on the jurors to announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty.
So there's no choice in Runo. You have to throw some more evidence at them.
This is it now. It all comes down to this. Who do I present evidence against, Gregson or Graydon? Do not leave it to the jury. Something I haven't presented yet. I haven't presented this. If I present this to Gregson, is it gonna appeal to his actual sense of justice and make him regret what he's done?
Maybe. It's like, if you do the wrong thing, Iris
You're
is
a
gonna write some
bad
bad shit about
man.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna be in trouble.
Alternatively, I don't think I have
The
anything else.
stereoscope.
I think that's what I have to do.
Yeah, I
It's the
guess so.
stereoscope.
Save before you do it.
Okay.
But
Okay. Here I go. Here I go doing it. But blackmail?
What
I'm
is
not
the
saying.
stereoscope?
I'm not assuming that this is a blackmail thing. I think that we're gonna appeal to his better judgment.
We can be both.
Inspector Gregson, there is one final piece of evidence I would like you to see.
Eh? What's that then?
If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leave us no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly.
Well, go on.
This is my last chance. It looks like I'm going to have to force his hand here. One final piece of evidence to get this detective to admit to the deal he clearly struck with Graydon. Here we go.
Take that!
Let's see if this works.
Oh, what on earth is this, Council?
Irrefutable proof, my lord, of the corrupt dealings that went on between these two men.
that doesn't
I'm
sound
not
right.
confident in this one.
You dummy. Irrefutable proof that the corrupt workings of my learned friend's mind.
Really, Council? At this stage in the proceedings, I would have expected more of a considered argument. The defense will be duly penalized.
Ah!
I think that there's like a 10% chance it's gonna cut to Gregson. He's gonna be like, oh!
They only struck that deal at the very last possible moment when they were in the stand. What's more, there's no love lost between them, clearly. It was strictly business.
If you think about it, murder and treason are both such serious crimes.
Yes, punishable by death.
But I don't think old Silky is going to admit to either of them anytime soon, do you?
No, but Gregson, on the other hand, he's just refusing to admit to what happened because he's been sworn to secrecy out of a sense of duty.
I wonder, if Gregson's lips are sealed because he's determined to do his duty, then perhaps to prize them open, you're going to have to be determined enough to do your duty too, Runo.
Of course, he'd do anything to follow his orders, so...
The jury has indicated its readiness to declare its final findings. I urge you to consider this as your final deed in this trial, Council.
This is my last chance. Looks like I'm gonna have to force his hand here. One final piece of evidence to get this detective. Oh, it's sticking with Gregson. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Can you say?
Oh, it's
I mean,
Well, I mean, I wouldn't save here.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to save. We could just go back to the last save.
Yeah. We already saved in the last.
yeah.
We saved here at
We
this
just
point already when we had 2 hits left, so we're good.
If I present the music box here, and we try both of the discs together, then the information that he's working so hard to protect will become public.
Yeah.
But we don't have. Do we have the 2 discs
We
in
do.
our possession anyway?
We do now.
We do now?
Yeah, because we just
Oh,
found
shit.
we just found it on Nash.
That's right.
And here's the first one. That's a thought. I'm not fully convinced that it's the right one, but it's currently my favorite thought. Does anybody else have anything else?
I am not sure.
Are we able to inspect the second disc?
It's not actually in our inventory.
I mean, I guess you can try.
I will.
Take that!
Yeah!
Oh.
Is that Mr. McGildick's peculiar music box, Council?
Yes, with a disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time... with the second disc we've just discovered set in place as well.
Goodness! This disc, Council?
Hold it!
I do mean
You mean this one?
I do.
No, wait! I can't let you do that!
And why not?
Because, because it's got nothing to do with this case, that's why.
Objection! Ha! Not true, Inspector.
Eh?
The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. And now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
We're crying out loud, Sunshine. We're talking about state secrets here. You don't let no courtroom hear confidential information like that. It's treason.
Then do you admit the charge? That in order to protect those state secrets, you engaged in unlawful dealings with the witness.
You're mad. If you let that secret information out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiots!
Objection! Huh. Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leak confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court, and all because by fair means or foul, you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare.
I will stop at nothing to protect my clients. I don't care who I make an enemy of.
Same, Van Seeks.
My lord, if you please, the court must hear the sounds made by that music box.
Come on, Van Six, for Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection!
Leg! I'm going to enjoy this, Inspector.
Just lounging.
Please do go on, my learned Nipponese friend.
Okay.
I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this court, my duty is to the law. So let me prepare a toast to uncovering the truth by fair means or foul.
No!
Very well. The defense stands here of that the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen to the music box set in operation once more. This time with the second disc in place, and both displaying simultaneously. It's upside down, isn't it?
I'll listen to that. It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code. Hold it? Okay.
Oh, alright, I admit it. Whatever you want, is shut the blooming box up!
We did it. Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you or did you not strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Grayton?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with the confidential case details in exchange for the music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker storeroom door, Inspector?
I did.
Stop! What are you doing, man?
It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess, we were stood here in the stand together. That's when he approached me with a deal.
Shut up, you imbecile! Shut up!
It's probably Grayton.
You there? You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector. With me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you do accept. Or information that maybe makes certain individuals uncomfortable will soon come very public indeed.
I couldn't let that information become public knowledge. Not under any circumstances. So, I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door and the bloodstains on the overcoat.
By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury.
I did. But then it turned out the peephole had only been made that night, after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? Perhaps we'll hear about it next time. Oh! If I'm being honest, this isn't my favorite stopping point, but that's okay. That's alright.
Yeah.
We gotta find this place somewhere, and this has gotta be where it is. Damn it.
Yep.
Oh my god. Grayson! Or Graydon! Gregson! You two jackasses! I mean, oh my god, it's not as evil as I thought Gregson had the motive for, but he still tried to get this guy off the hook and put Gina in jail. Not great. Awful. Terrible.
I would say, like, the main thing here is showcasing that Gregson was being blackmailed, essentially.
He was being blackmailed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel... Couldn't he have just explained it to the court?
Well, maybe that he would, like, something else would have happened that... Because they wanted the secrecy to be hush-hush, no matter how much he spoke about it, it would be revealed to some extent, so... Now he just picked the lesser of two evils when it already was going to be revealed.
Yeah. Not great.
He didn't
Nope.
want the implication that there were government secrets hidden in this music box disc to be known at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, either way, that's gonna be where we cut it for the night. It's regrettable, but that's gonna be what happens. Oh, hey, No More Heroes, what's up? We're gonna come back to this and probably almost definitely finish it next week. So look forward to that. It'll be a good time. For now, though, we are gonna have to dip out. What are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are supposed to do Four Swords Adventure, but before that...
Yeah.
Before that, we are doing a live reaction to the Nintendo Direct at 5 p.m. EST tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got really scared there when I said we were supposed to do Four Swords.
You did it on purpose, you bastard.
And then after that, we will do Four Swords at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was, what kind of soup? What kind of soup? Morse code soup?
Blackmail soup.
Blackmail soup.
By fair means or
Blackmail
foul
soup.
soup.
Oh, by fair means or foul.
Beans or foul soup.
Fair and foul soup. But it's foul like chicken.
By fair meals or foul soup.
good.
Cat flap soup too. Alrighty, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.